Hello, GEOG 5 students. This is your instructor, and wanted to give a little bit of a presentation today directed towards assignment number 2, which is due in a couple of weeks. You guys are going to be creating a web map for this assignment. And I did have an inquiry from a student about the, just kind of saying she was a little unclear about maybe what kind of an assignment or what kind of a topic to pursue for her mapping assignment. And so one of the things that I did was I updated our assignment, and I included a couple of possible features for you to map. And I say here what you map will depend upon the purpose of your map and the mapping platform that you're using. So you've got a lot of latitude with this particular project. You might end up pursuing a particular topic or a theme that's of interest to you, like you might have something that's like, my favorite hiking spots or something like that. Or it could be a little bit more generic where you're looking at things that are sort of in your day-to-day experience that you would like to create sort of your personalized map of Reading, for example. And then there also are opportunities to focus in on a particular area and just to map a single simple feature like updating roads or trails. This would be especially pertinent if you were using something like OpenStreetMap, which actually updates that information for public consumption. So wanted to just give a little bit of a demo in terms of using the two Google products, Google Maps and Google Earth, and an approach that you can take to producing something that's of interest to you. And so I'm going to start off here with Google Maps, and most of you guys are familiar with this, and you can see that I'm actually logged in here. So if you have a Google account, you also have the ability to create your own custom maps, which you can share. And so if you look at the index over here, the menu, one of those choices is My Maps. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. And when I'm in My Map here, I have the option to create a map. Okay, and when I create a map, it will give me some basic editing tools. And you can see that you can import things in there, and you can also add individual layers, or you can draw lines, add markers, and that's a fairly simple way to go about this project. So if you're interested in Alturas, for example, you might end up deciding to add markers in various places that illustrate the things that you're interested in. And you could enter in names and a little bit of a description in here, and then you would save that. Okay, and I'm going to not save it because I don't want to create anything in particular here. One of the things that I do want to make sure that you're all aware of is that you are responsible for submitting a document that explains what you are trying to accomplish and how you went about it. And so one of the things that you can do as you're working through your project is you can do screenshots, and I'm particularly fond of the I'm in Windows, and it's found under Accessories, and it's called the Snipping tool. And the Snipping tool looks like this, and what it allows you to do is to come in here and take screenshots, okay? And so once I've done this, I would just have like a Word document going, and I would just copy this, and I would go over to my Word document. I have lots of documents going, actually. And I would just say, here's my first step, okay? And I would just take a screenshot of that, and as I went through my process, and again, you're going to want to write a little bit about it as well, but as you go through the process, let's say that you're going to be drawing a line and you're going to be adding a bike route, okay? And so as you go through this process, you're going to come through and this is a good example of something that you might want to do. What's your favorite bike routes across town if you're a cyclist? Okay, and so you might go ahead and add that in and say, okay, that's a good one. That's something I got to make sure to show the instructor and anybody else looking at this how I did this. And so I'm just going to take a little bit of a screenshot of that, copy it, go back to my Word document, and have something like adding a bike route. Okay. So again, depending on what you're doing will dictate how involved something is. I mean, obviously, just to add in a single line, that's a fairly simple kind of activity, and I would be looking for a little bit more detail. I might say that, and I give you a little bit of guidelines on this, but if you're using Google Maps, you're probably looking at something like maybe 10 to 15 features that you would add, and descriptions. You can add photos and things like that when you're doing this. So just by way of an example of what one of these maps might look like, if I can figure out how to get my way out of here. Okay, you can change the base map that you're operating from. And I'm going to go back to maps. All right, so if I look at my maps, these are the various maps that I've created at different times. And for this example, I'm going to show you a map that I created for my field class to San Francisco, which is going to be offered again next semester. Hope to see some of you maybe sign up for that class. And what I did here was just put in our walking route, okay, and so this was just a base map that I created, and I added in the individual stops along this walk, okay, and I also chose the route that I was walking, or had the group walking, okay. So again, these are things that you can add to, to kind of customize something that you're interested in presenting. Okay, so another thing that you have as an option, of course, is Google Maps. So I've got a lot of stuff up on my screen here. And so let's take a look at, Google Earth. And I'm going to show you an example of a map that I created in Google Earth, and something that you can likewise do. Now, most of you should have Google Earth installed now, because it was something required for the first assignment. And I think most of you guys have this kind of general sense that you can navigate around in Google Maps. And once you do, you again have these options to be able to go in. If you're focused in on London, for example, I've taken the labels off, making it kind of hard to get your orientation, but I happen to know that this is London. And once you're into the particular area that you're interested in, you have the ability to add place marks, and you can precisely locate these place marks, and you can rename this feature, whatever it's called. And you can actually, one of the things that's kind of cool is that you can do things like, I'm rotating my perspective, and then you can come in here and under view, you can say snapshot current view, and when the user comes in to orient themselves, they're going to see the perspective that you chose. Of course, you've got the ability to add in a description, and I would like to see descriptions in your place marks, and also the ability to add images or to add links. And so these are things I want you to be thinking about doing, especially in the Google Earth and Google Maps applications, because it's fairly straightforward to add these points in. So let's take advantage of some of the capabilities and enrich the content a little bit. Okay. You also have the ability, again, to draw in routes, and as you're drawing these in, you can go through and kind of do this haphazardly, or you could come in and do something that is maybe a little bit finer resolution. The number of individual mouse clicks will dictate how accurately you're reflecting the feature that you're interested in. Okay, so another option that you have when you're working here. Okay, so here's an example of a project that I created for a class. And what I've done here is added a series of these place marks with descriptors. And so this is tracing the path of the Sacramento River. And you can see I've added links along the way. Stop in Dunsmuir. And we'll travel to the upper Sacramento River. And then I also have these individual numbered activities where I have questions that are being asked along the way. We go over and take a look at Trinity Lake. And you can close these out as well. So you get the idea. You have the ability to be able to travel around, show different perspectives, and again, I think this is a nice example in the sense of here I'm using a theme, that being water. If you are particularly interested in local history or forestry or cycling or hiking or whatever it is, those can be themes or topics. And once you've added these things, one of the things that will happen is as you're adding places, it will add them into the area called My Places. So one of the things I would like to suggest that you do before you start this process, if you've identified something that you're interested in, one of the things that you can do here is that you can add a folder, and by adding a folder, you could create your work inside of this folder. And then once you've done that, you'll do a Save Places As, and that will end up producing a KMZ file. And that's a compressed KML and KMZ are sort of interchangeable file extensions that are used in Google Earth, and those can be emailed around. You can submit those to me, and since I've got Google Earth installed, I'll just click on your KMZ file and bingo, I'm up and running, and I can see all of the things that you are interested in showing for your project. Okay, so that's a little bit of a demo of what you're going to be looking at for your assignment. And again, this week you want to be sure to go into the discussion that I had presented at the end of last week, and this is called Geovisionaries and Geoskeptics, and it fits in line with the article that I posted, and also so the geospatial technologies and the geographies of hope and fear is the article that was posted for last week's reading. I also gave you a review of something, a book called Data and Goliath that is very interesting on this particular topic, and also presented a recent op-ed from the San Jose Mercury News. And this week's lecture will further inform this particular subject. Okay, we will see you all online.